Hi, my name is Naomi and I'm the creator of Two and or Four, who makes handmade products for your two-legged loved ones and your four-legged loved ones. I recorded this video several weeks ago, and then I got in my own head and didn't release the video because I thought, oh, other people have done this and whatever. But what I've come to realize is there might be something a little unique to the way I do something, and you might, get a different perspective. Also, when you're recording, you may miss a certain angle and you might see it in a different angle, of someone else's video. So I decided to go ahead and get over myself and release the video. But if you like the video, I would appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I do have more videos now that I'm over myself coming out very soon. I appreciate you all. Thank you. I recently did this. I embroidered my logo on a t-shirt at the suggestion of Barb from MN Custom Made, and I would like to thank her for that idea. Now, I'm going to be putting it on this t-shirt, and I would like to walk through the steps with you. First of all, for far away, I don't need glasses, but for up close, I need glasses. So here we go. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to get my 4x4 hoop because it fits in there, and I like to use the smallest hoop that will fit the item. I just find it easier for myself to center and so forth. I'm going to cut a piece of tearaway stabilizer. This is a stabilizer that I've had laying around when I first started. It is not a stabilizer that I would use on products that I'm going to actually sell. This is just for my purposes, so it's fine, but it's just too thin. And now I get my stabilizer from SheerStitch, and I absolutely like the stabilizer I get from them. So I put it in the hoop, all right, and give it a little tug all around, and let me move the camera down a bit more, and then I take my little screwdriver that is made for being able to adjust your hoops, and I'm just going to tighten it. I am by no means an expert at embroidery. In fact, I'm pretty new to embroidery, and sometimes I find this a little hard, so you have to tighten a little and then pull again on the stabilizer. Someday, hopefully, in the not too distant future, I will have a multi-needle machine, and I will get the mighty hoops for hooping, because I find this annoying. Anyway, I was taught to make sure that the stabilizer is fairly taut, kind of like a drum, and then I'm going to find the center on my hoop, And I don't know if you guys have noticed, those of you who have single needle machines and got hoops, especially I think the brother, that it comes with a purple and a green. And if you look at it, you will see that I don't know why they couldn't engineer it both ways, but for one, the purple is centered for the vertical, and then the green is centered for the horizontal. And by centered, if you look at the hoop, you will see that there's these little notches, and that's basically marking center vertically and horizontally. And then I just take a small ruler and I just draw a line. I do this because I'm fairly new to embroidery. I'm sure those of you who have been doing it for quite some time don't need to do that. Then I take my shirt and I lay it down, and basically what I do is I do still find the center of the shirt, and I just finger crease it because I'm not really centering my logo on the center. I just kind of use it as a guide. What I will do is I will get a ruler. And actually what I did was I took my triangle square. It's a 90-degree angle. And I just line it up with the very top of the shoulder on the left-hand side. I will then want to just kind of eyeball that it's straight, and then I have marked on mine that the top here is 7 inches down. So you can use, they do have embroidery circles, and I do find them kind of expensive, and I tend to use just old loose leaf paper reinforcement tabs. It's just a couple of dollars for 1,000 of them, and they seem to work just fine for me. So what I will do is I will kind of try to center the circle right where my top line begins. And so that for me tells me that's the center, 7 inches down. Now, I was doing some reading, and left logos are usually 7 to 9 inches down, but because I'm short, I would go to the 7 inches down. The next thing I'll do is I'll just take a ballpoint pen and put it through the center of the little reinforcement circle, and then I will take one of my pens that, they're Pilot erasable pens, and they come in all different colors, and honestly, they disappear when you hit it with the iron. The only thing is I wouldn't press too hard because you could get an indentation, though that has not been a problem for me. Everything seems to come out in the wash. And so I will kind of mark on the back of my T where the center is, and I'll just put a small dot in the front. All right, then what I do, is I take the shirt and I turn it. The reason I marked the inside was I'm going to turn it inside out for a minute, and I'm going to take some no-show Polymesh stabilizer, and I am going to use a little bit of the spray adhesive, and I am going to put it on the back of this shirt because that's going to be my real stabilizer. I have found that I just cut some of my sheets up for my logo because it's not a big logo, and I don't see the need to waste so much. Now, I have a box underneath my cutting table that I do my spraying in, just so that the spray doesn't go all over the place. So just a little bit, and then I will just kind of center it, eyeball the center, and then I'll just smooth it down. Now, some people spray their hoop so that they could then stick this on, and that's what I do. Some people say that there's a problem with that. I haven't found my needles to get gummed up or anything, and also it seems to come out all right, and since it's just for my t-shirt, I'm fine with it. Again, I just spray a little bit, and then what I did want to mention is that because I know that my triangle ruler is 12 inches long, what I do is I take another ruler and I put it at the other corner, at the other shoulder, and I just make sure that my triangle is straight. So if this measures 12 inches and this measures 12 inches, then we're good to go. All right. So what I do is I take my Frixion pen and I just do kind of a dotted line, depending on how big your logo is. You can decide how big you want to, how long you want to make that line. My logo is really just 2 inches, so I only do like 1 inch on the top and 1 inch on the bottom, and that's perfectly fine. And then I take my other ruler, and I just kind of, I know this is at 7, and I make sure that the other side, I take my triangle ruler and I put it there, and I have that little center mark, and I just kind of make sure You can do it on top of or below. It really doesn't matter. Just make sure your shirt is nice and doesn't have a lot of wrinkles and bubbles in it. And so then I'll just take it and I will use that to make my horizontal line. And again, only go about 1 inch on each side. And that's it. So I can remove this circle right now because now I know where my center is. I usually just stick them on my cutting table and try to reuse them if I remember they're there. Sometimes I end up with quite a few. So then I take and on the line, and let me show you that. Let's see if I can, yeah. So now I try to use the lightest marker possible that I can still see. So I just fold my shirt on that line, and then I use my pin again, and I put it through the center. I take my hoop, and I put it inside the shirt, and then I take that pin and I try to keep it folded horizontally, and I use the pin to kind of guide me to where the center is, and I use the horizontal line that I've drawn, and I put that on there, and then I take the pin out, and I just kind of eyeball that it's mark I drew is on the line. Now, my logo is not that big, so there's some forgiveness to it. And that's it. The other thing I do is that I always print out my design, and in this particular case, I'm going to be doing design similar to this. I'm not going to have the outside border, but this is about the size, and the rest of it lays out well. So I would use it, and I just kind of put it down and just kind of see, you know, whether I feel my hoop is centered enough, you know, and it's worth printing. And in this particular case, I save this because I plan to do several shirts. All right, now I'm gonna hoop it on my machine. And if I didn't say it before, I have the Brother PE 800. And I am going to smooth this out and probably put a couple of clips, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I have definitely done more than once where I have attached, embroidered right through front and back, or attached a sleeve to it, or done a host of other things, but that's how you learn. All right, make sure it's got a nice clear field. There's nothing underneath. And, oh yes, it would help if I actually had the little stick that the file is on. One moment. All right, my little trusty stick. And I have this attached to my machine, I just found for myself it made it much easier to take the drive in and out, and I didn't have to worry about being so gentle with the process. All right, I'm going to cancel the previous one, and then so I put the stick in the extension, and I have brought up my files, and the file that I want is this one. So I'm going to do it on a 4x4 hoop. I'm going to set it, and then I will center the design. So what I will do is I will move my hoop until I feel it's centered, and then I will take my piece of Soluble Topper, and I'm going to put it there under what will cover my design, and then I will just take a couple of pieces of tape and I'll tape it to the shirt just so it doesn't move. All right, that's looking pretty good. And then, once again, I'll just make sure I didn't move anything. And I will put the machine to embroider. I'll put my foot down on the presser foot down, and I'll hold the tail. I was taught to hold the tail, and I will let it go. And I will just stop it after a little bit, and I'll just cut that tail off. And resume. And right away, I have a thread issue. I am going to be switching over thread to the Madeira poly neon, or right now I have the Madeira classic rayon, and it does have a lot of breaks, and so I'm curious to find out whether that will fix that. Now, what I do is, obviously I'm rethreading the machine. And I will go back 10 to 20 stitches, and that's usually enough to realign the design, but I will look at it and see. That seems to be okay, so I am going to go ahead. All right. Once again, I'll hold the tail. And let's hope that it gets through this time. Okay, what I did notice was that it actually missed part of my 2, so I'm gonna attempt to fix that, and because it's my shirt, it's fine, but let's see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start the program again, and then I'm going to stop it. I'm only going to attempt this repair because I haven't taken it off of the machine yet, so hopefully I can get it to redo that, at least that part of the 2. There it goes. I'm gonna do it one more time. So I'm actually going to lift the needle. Let's see what it looks like. I'm gonna let it go to finish the 2 so it goes back up. We'll see what happens. So I'll lift the needle, and that's going to be it. I'm going to take it off of the machine, and I'll show you in a minute. So I fixed the 2, so now the whole 2 is there. I'm actually going to clean some of this up while it's still in the hoop. I don't know whose video I watched that said it's actually easier to do a lot of this while it's in the hoop because it's pulled taut. And so that's what I'm gonna do. And then I just clean it up, cut whatever ones I can cut. Some of them are just so tiny, like in between the toes, that it's just, and in between the little toes of the pet paw prints, that I just leave them because it's virtually impossible to get there. Now, I would love to have my logo professionally digitized. I did this myself, and at some point I will do that, but I've been playing around with the font of the text part of the logo, and so once I decide what I really want there, then I'll get it professionally digitized, and I'll have to find a digitizer. I think Angela Jasmina has mentioned a digitizer here and there, so and that's it. I'm going to clean it up a bit more, and I'll also just clean up the back a bit more, and then I'll take it off the hoop. All right, I cleaned up the design a bit. Now I'm going to take away my little clips. By the way, these little clips I got at Home Depot. They were, I think at the time I bought them, they were 59 cents each. All right, and now I'm going to turn the design over. I'm going to take off this tape, and I usually find I can use the tape, you know, 2 or 3 more times before it just doesn't have enough stickiness in it. And I'm going to pull away the topper, and then later I'll spray a little water on it to get the tiny ones out. You know, because the design has such tiny elements, there's topper left in between. And then because this has tearaway underneath, I just tear it away out of the hoop, and I'll clear out the hoop later. And then I just pull as much of the tearaway as I can, and I tend to use my tweezers to get in between the tearaway and the Polymesh, because the Polymesh is going to stay on. I'll just cut away the excess on it. But I tear away as much as I can of the tearaway stabilizer. I find this part tedious. All right, when I've gotten enough of the tearaway stabilizer off, I just peel up the Polymesh from the areas that there's no embroidery on, and I just cut it. And first I start with broad, large chunks, so I don't have to work with such large pieces. And then I will make sure I keep my shirt out of the way, and then I'll just kind of cut away close to the design, but just making sure that I don't cut my shirt, which, by the way, I have done. So which is really annoying when you go through all the trouble and then the very end, you put a hole in your shirt. Now, if it's a shirt for me, I just repair the hole, but obviously if it's for someone else, you can't do that. Sorry, that's my dog in the background, letting me know it is her dinner time, and heaven forbid that she has to go more than, you know, a minute or two past her time. The other one is kind of quiet. He doesn't do that, but I will show you. They are waiting for me. This is the one that's not quiet and lets me know. He will just lay near me instead of in his bed and let me know that it's dinner time, but she's the one that is not quiet about it. And she'll bring me a toy, she'll hit me in the leg, you know, right? You want your dinner? Yeah, that's a yes. Okay, I will be taking a break to feed them their dinner. So I've cleaned it up and I cut around it. I don't feel the need to take out in between for myself. And so then I'm going to turn it back out and going to deal with the tiny pieces of Soluble mesh that are, Soluble Topper that are still left on there. Then I'm going to take my spritz bottle and just mist it a bit and take the Soluble that I still have and then pull up, and yep, it got all of it. Okay, I've brought it over to my iron and I'm just going to iron all the markings that I put with the Fusion, the Pilot, I think it's called Fusion, I'll take a look at it in a minute, pen with the iron are gone. All the marks that I made with the Frixion, the Pilot Frixion pen are gone, just so you can see. And the pens come in all colors, and so far I haven't had an issue with getting it out of anything, but I work with mostly cottons. So if you were going to try it, I would definitely recommend you tried a test piece of fabric. So that concludes this video on how to embroider your logo on a t-shirt. If you liked the video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. If you aren't subscribed, I would also love it if you would subscribe. I will be doing more videos, and have a great day, and that's it for now. Bye.